Yo, I'm Dijon McCain, representing Go 95.3, here with the one and only Saba. He don't even need no introduction, man. Don't even need no introduction.
I mean, everybody need an introduction. Think about how many people have no idea who the fuck, what the fuck. Can I say fuck?
Yeah, hey, do your thing, bro. Hey.
Cool.
You right, bro. He low-key stole my shoes, though. Low-key, like.
My shit a little.
You got the close up?
It's cause my shit fake.
What?
Yeah, these fake. These knockoff.
Hey man, look, you said it. I ain't said it. It's better come from him than me saying something like that. But yeah, man. So you've been all over, bro. Festivals all over. I think you had one of the best albums of 2018. Care for me, yeah, man. Doing your thing, bro. But I wanted to talk to you about the latest feature you had, or one of my favorite features on the Dreamville. Sacrifices, man. How did it feel? How did that come about?
It came about. We was in Atlanta. We got hit up to go out there for the revenge sessions. A lot of my friends was already like heading down there, so it was cool to just be down there. And it was like you could kind of see everybody was hungry. Sacrifice was the first song I did when I got down there.
Yeah, that was the first one.
I walked in the door and that shit damn near happened immediately. Yeah, so it was like I landed pretty early. So how a lot of those sessions like that work is like people start showing up like throughout the day. Some people might stop by and then dip. So I got there pretty early. So the only person who I knew that was there when I got there was Monty Booker.
Okay.
And Monty started showing me around. He started showing me all of the rooms or whatever. And he was like, I had all my bags. Like I was fresh from everywhere.
He said I was clean.
And he was like, you can just leave your stuff in here. We finna be in here all day. Yeah. So when like Smee got there, Groove got there, and then Olu, like when everybody started coming in, the Sacrifice beat was the first beat that got played. Like since I got down there, and then we did the record like super fast, knocked it out, and then later on Cole came in the room and he heard it, and his ass was like, alright, send this to me. He went in the other room, laid his down. Then by the end of the day, the whole record was done. But that was the first thing that happened when I got down.
Bro, that's crazy.
So it was off to a pretty intense start, honestly.
Because I definitely think that's one of the standout tracks alone on that album. So I'm like, yo, wait a minute, how they did that? Now, I read somewhere that y'all be making like records in 20 minutes or so, 20 minutes or less. Somebody walk out of the room and y'all challenge yourselves to just...
In a situation like that, we were making records like super fast because it was like a situation where it's a room and it's 8 people in the room. Yeah. All of them are super talented rappers or some singers down there, some producers. There's so many talented people in the room where it's like we kind of just getting out ideas like super quick. We're not even like taking like a lot of time to really do it. It's just coming to it. So a lot of that shit was getting done like really quickly.
Is it?
It was just such a moment rather than, the songs wasn't important. I mean, obviously it's like, but the songs wasn't the purpose. It felt like the experience, like when we was down there, was the legendary part. The songs just come with it, because there's songs that didn't make the cut that can come out any day and will still be crazy. Yeah, so I think it was that whole experience. The fact that was able to happen was pretty legendary in my book.
Now, when you're in the room, people like Smino, Olu, just everybody that's in that space, does it get competitive, or is it more of a nature that's like y'all just pushing each other to be your best to make great music?
I don't know. I guess rap in general is supposed to be like competitive or whatever, but a lot of times I'm just having fun, and I think that they would feel the same way. It's not like you looking at, I feel like with competition comes like I don't know. I just don't really like the stigma that come with competition. I think for us it was like we all want the same result in the end, so it's hard to call it a competition. It's more like we playing on the same team situation than us competing against each other. But I mean, everybody want to rap the best verse, I'm sure.
Right.
But we all rap so different that it's like in a way, we kind of all do rap the best verse because can't nobody sound like how we sound. So that's why we are on the songs that we own. You know what I'm saying? Like, we bring different energies, like all of us. Like I don't sound shit like Obi, I don't sound shit like Smino, and they don't sound like me. But I can't do what they do, and they can't do what I do. So that's why I got a lot of love and respect for what those gentlemen do.
Well, don't bring me in there, bro. Cause I be thinking I can rap sometime in the room. Look, do not bring me in there. Look, it's not. I'm competitive. Look, you know what I'm saying. But it's I don't know. I'm gonna be on your level yet.
I mean, you know, that's competitive, but it's like friendly competition. It's not like Mamba. Like, trying to murder your enemies and shit.
Get a little serious
right.
there. I feel you, man. So coming from west side of Chicago and just having Pivot Gang, like what has that done for you, like in terms of like your influence or who you are as your character? Because it seems like you've like birthed the supportive culture around yourself, or you cultivated the supportive culture around yourself. So like, how has like having Pivot Gang and being from west side really, you know, had an influence on who you are today?
I think just Pivot in general was the start of a lot of different things that kind of came from the city of Chicago. And I think Pivot, like, we always emphasized the west side of Chicago, and we always made that part important just because it felt like wasn't nobody really from the west side of Chicago, like especially when we was coming up, like it wasn't really like we had, you know, I'm gonna go to the studio on my homie, like we didn't really have that. It was kind of like we would invite people to our spaces. So for us, what we was doing, like we did the early versions of what turned into a lot of what's happening now in like 2011, 2012, where we were having people come make the trek all the way to the west side of Chicago to be a part and to be in the studio and to just feel that energy. And I think that's what, you know, a lot of the Chicago scene has been down there at one point or another, and I think it was just an important time. So it was just dope to be a part of that. Like that, the fact that Pivot started around that same time, and it just kind of turned into something crazy for a lot of people, and some people who aren't even in Pivot Gang. Like we used to record all the No Name stuff and all the Nick Jenkins stuff and all the even Lucky X stuff. So it's like, I don't know, for me it's just like building that community isn't always just limited to my people. You know what I'm saying? It's not just like just us. And sometimes it's like it extends. I'm one of them people who, you know, if I got a studio space or if I got access to something, I feel like I try to always keep my door open, and it always has been that way. You know what I'm saying? So I was recording a lot of people. I wasn't even really rapping like that. Like I was down there engineering because that's what people needed. That's what the city of Chicago needed. Like it was a lot of talent, but people just needed help. So I'm like, all right, well, this is, you know, I can do both.
Right.
So you know, I think my job at first was just to help other people, and then it's like, you know, you play your role, and then all types of shit can happen.
Stuff happen. I know, for real. And I was just talking to your manager about that when we was out there, and we was just talking about like creating that culture and that atmosphere to where like everybody's supporting each other. And then he also agreed that a lot of times when you coming up, like we want it so quick, like we want the success so fast, like the instant gratification kind of thing. Like, did you ever find yourself feeling like that at one point, or like you have like, you know what I'm saying, advice for other people who might be wanting it right now? Because watching social media.
At the end of the day, everybody want it, and everybody want it right now. But I think it's lessons in the patient part. It's lessons in all of the failures and all of the times that you don't get it. So for me, it's like I wanted it so bad when I was 18, but to this day, like very thankful that I didn't get it when I was 18, because I wouldn't have known what the hell to do with it. You know what I'm saying? Like, I wouldn't have known what to do with the relationships. I wouldn't have known what to do with having any money in my pocket. I wouldn't have known what to do with the music. Like, I just would have been clueless. I would have been happy that people were listening, because I think that's what people really want. People just want to feel heard. People want to have that impact. People want to come out the gate with, like, you know, I'm popping.
I'm popping.
Yeah. And sometimes it's some people do get that and they're able to learn, but it's like you got to learn quick at that point or it's gonna fall apart. So I think in all of the failures and all the times that you don't get exactly what you want, you got so much more room to grow. And I think for me, it worked in my favor by not having like a huge moment like that when I was 18. So it's just been years and years and years of building it up, and I've been able to even just get better, because that's still something like at the end of the day, you gotta perfect your craft, you gotta hone in your skills. Like you can blow up tomorrow, but if you're not better tomorrow than you were today, then it's pointless, honestly.
Tekashi 6ix9ine. Oh, you ain't said that.
I said I don't even know how that. How did we get there?
I'm like hoping. Yeah, I'm hoping.
Over my head.
Hoping for it, for better for him. But speaking about like, I'm hoping better for Tekashi. Like, hey, let's hope. Speaking about failures though, like, how would you say, like, not necessarily how to overcome adversity, but like growing up in the West Side Chicago, or for anybody, you know what I'm saying, who relates with that, the ethnic background, like, what advice would you give these people who, or particularly people of color who a lot of times I feel like America has shown us that like we don't really matter. So like in making your music, how have you used that platform to, you know what I'm saying, inspire or uplift?
Yeah. I think part of the one thing that's important to acknowledge is, one, no artist is really, I feel like, responsible for, doing what people want them to do. Like at the end of the day, a lot of people can want from artists, but at the end of the day, it's the artist's decision to say what they say or do what they do. So that's one. And then two, everybody's inspired by different things. So some people might want an artist to be doing one thing, and some people might expect the artist to do something else, and that artist might influence them both different ways. I think for me, I just try to be as specific as possible with all of my experiences. So a lot of the stories that I'm telling you all types of details that a lot of other artists might not necessarily like, because they don't stand out. It might be something as simple as, what day of the week or was or some shit like that. But when you're telling stories, I think that's what makes the stories feel real. And for me growing up, I was always inspired when I heard artists kind of become real people, because we put artists on this platform and we worship them like gods and shit. So I think when artists came down and became real people in front of me, that was when I was like, oh shit, I can do that. I can be, I can be important. And I think that's what the most inspiring part was for me. So I think, I don't know, everybody got different experiences, but for me, I think when I tell my experience as personal as it may be and as specific as I can put it, I think that's when it touches the most people, even if it's people who've never been to the hood a day in their life or never been to the West Side of Chicago. I think people can just relate because they relate to the details, like in the stories, Yeah. So that's, I don't know, I think the answer in there somewhere.
No, definitely. No, it is, bro. I definitely appreciate that too, man, because it's just like, it's hard sometimes when you feel like, you by yourself and you're working to, it's like you sacrificing time and isolating yourself to become something better. So I appreciate you, having the platform you do and doing what you're doing with it, man, for real. So he gotta go though, so I don't want to hold him too long. He's about to get ready to perform. Turn the U of M up, even though it's cold as hell right now, man. I'm Dijon McCain, Go 95.3. Peace.